Derek DeBrosse, the gun lawyer.
Hey, gun lawyer here. It is our ride-along night with Eric Delbert of Perry Township. You are a officer?
Sergeant.
Sergeant, I'm sorry.
For probably about 4 or 5 years.
So what kind of car are we driving tonight?
So we're driving one of the new Ford SUVs. Really nice, a lot more roomier than some of the past cars. A lot of pep to it, a lot of nice amenities.
What year is it?
Things at our disposal. It's probably 2016.
Is it a V8?
I think it's a V8.
Real quick, kind of you show the audience kind of what's at your disposal.
Yeah,
in
a lot of
the front
equipment
seat.
at our disposal. I mean, obviously, a lot of you know, the switches for the lights, the sirens, all kinds of lights now to help you know, be visible on the side of the road, direct people to another lane. We also have the radar unit up top. That's more the traditional radar. There's a laser as well that we can do, a handheld laser. A number of radios. One picks up the main air, the channels that we're working on. Another one picks up some of the surrounding agencies, so you can keep abreast of what's going on around you.
This being the Gun Lawyer's YouTube channel, what kind of gun do you carry, and what else is carried in the car?
Yeah. I carry a Smith & Wesson M&P 45.
Okay.
Also have a backup weapon on.
Okay.
We carry shotguns in the car, 12-gauge shotguns, and then we also carry ARs.
Are you allowed to carry NFA items that you personally own?
Probably not.
Okay. Never looked into it.
Right. We're limited to, you know, ARs, you know, or 223, 556 rounds that we have qualified with.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So we're just going to go drive around then.
Just gonna go drive around, and just right when you least expect it is when it all happens.
Is there a donut shop nearby?
A couple of them.
Good.
We're car 168 tonight,
okay.
So you'll hear that over the main air anytime we hear 168 or the other unit that's out.
Okay.
It's calling us. The area is spread out quite a bit.
Okay.
We go pretty far south, pretty far north, so we cover a wide variety of area. We'll drive around, look for anything that's obvious, any violators, that type of thing, and just listen to the radio.
Let's do it. So, a couple questions I think the viewers really want to know is concealed carry stops. So when you stop somebody for speeding, they have a concealed carry license. Kind of walk through what you see and what you expect the person that's stopped to do.
Sure. We immediately see a readout on our lead screen.
And what does LEAD stand for?
Yeah.
I can tell you if you don't know.
Yeah, go ahead, Derek.
Law Enforcement Automated Data System.
There you go. As you approach the car, most CHL holders are very cognizant that, you know that we know that they have a firearm. Yeah. Their hands are on the steering wheel. A lot of times they put their dome light on. They'll roll down the back window to really say, "Hey, officer, I know that that you're approaching a scenario where there's a firearm, and I'm going to show you that I'm safe."
Now, when do you run the leads? Do you run the leads before you approach?
I always do. I always do.
And to the viewers, that's important because under the law, it's actually a lesser crime if you fail to notify promptly if they have prior knowledge. So a big problem we have with concealed carry in the States, we have this law that says you have to promptly notify a law enforcement officer when you're approaching for a law enforcement purpose. I mean, have you ever had an interaction where a concealed carry holder did not notify, and how do you handle that as an officer?
You know, we've had a couple of times, but it was times where the person didn't have the firearm on them or on their person or in the car.
Right. And by law, they don't have to know.
Right. And so I will, in the course of, you know, inquiring with them, I'll ask them, and oftentimes they'll say, "Hey, no, sir, I don't have it with me."
So what is law enforcement's overall or general view, at least in Ohio, in this area, in central Ohio, of concealed carry holders? Because a lot of them are really worried about officers, and sometimes they might look at them as the enemy.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Those are the folks, the majority of officers that I speak to know that those are the folks who've taken the time, who've done it right, who've gone through the classes, and they, the people with CHLs know that it's a privilege that can be taken away upon, if they were to commit a crime.
Now, what if there is a self-defense encounter and you approach the scene? What would you want? Let's say hypothetically in a vacuum, the facts are such that it is in fact a justified shooting. There's no questions asked. You approach the scene. The concealed carry holder, should he have the gun, or she have the gun down? What if they need to keep the scene secure before you get there? What would you expect?
It is something that every holder needs to think about, because when we get the call that it's a call with a gun involved, we're not going to know who the good guy and the bad guy is. Right. There's conflicting information almost always. So it's important. The adrenaline's pumping. It's important for the holder, who is the good guy potentially, to listen to the command. The first officer on the scene, if they say put down the gun, don't spend time trying to explain your story. Put down the gun. You might be put down on the ground like the bad guy,
sure.
and you just need to let it sort out.
The number one question I get is, what do you tell the police after a shooting? Right. My advice has always been the same. Having been a combat veteran myself, and you get that tunnel vision, is not to say anything. Yeah. Just tell the, invoke your right to remain silent and ask to speak with your lawyer. My concern, Eric, has always been like, how are you going to remember all those steps when you're in the heat of the moment?
Absolutely,
and you might say too much.
And you have to remember, when we arrive on that scene, sure as heck, the bad guy is going to be looking at the good guy saying, "Officer, that guy pulled a gun on me. I was just walking." For that time period, we're not going to know quite who is in the right here. So, if you can give some information to help the cause and to, at least help with the initial investigation, I think that's beneficial.
Well, that van right there is going. Now I see he put his brakes on.
45, right when he hit his brakes.
Line on 35 driver. A black SUV. No lights.
Let's see what this guy looks like.
Unable to maintain a lane, hugging the right side of the road.
Sometimes it's the one going slow that
the guy with that black car?
Yeah, it had a drape on it.
Yeah, it was weird.
I think this guy behind him might be with him.
32. I'll be out at record command.
Where are we at here? Oh, you son of a gun.
There's the lights. We got him, guys.
It's just... Hey, it's not your choice where to pull over.
We pulled him over because the license plate can be read. It's covered in some sort of drape. We think it's a test car.
Copy.
That was an interesting stop.
That was kind of interesting. Nice people.
What'd they say about the license plate?
Oh, I told them I just would move it for them, so they...
Did you move it over?
Yeah, I just made it go around it better.
Did they thank you?
Yeah, I said the boys in the back wanted me to take it all the way off.
What'd they say?
I said, come on now, guys, what is it?
What did they tell you?
No. Nothing.
Thanks, Eric. We appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
We'll come back out again. Nothing too exciting tonight.
Nothing too exciting, but
I think the viewers, those questions we ask, we get those questions all the time. Just about interaction with law enforcement when you're carrying a firearm. They're very important. I can teach it from a legal standpoint, but the officer standpoint is a practical education lesson. I think is important for them.
It is, and it's common sense. You think about the officer and what they're walking up to. They don't know you. We don't know if you have good intentions or bad intentions. So err on the side of making sure that you listen to the commands, have your hands on the steering wheel, and that's all stuff that says to us, hey, look, this person respects what we're doing, and it ends up in a good scenario.
And clearly, some officers are pro-gun. He's the owner of LEPD. Check him out. What's your website?
LEPD.com.
OhioGunLawyer.com. As always, guys, remember, be safe out there and carry on.